I'm going to hit record. Good morning, everyone, all my fellow Toastmasters. What a great day to be here at TLI. I am your speaker today. I'm Darlene Willman, and I have Herman, who's going to be doing, I guess, the introductions here.
Yes.
And getting us started.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to this very much. Today, we have our distinguished Toastmaster, Darlene Willman, who is an award-winning communications consultant, professional speaker, certified coach, and author of the book, Maximize Your Brilliance. She works with organizations that want to draw attention to their brand so they can increase profits and improve communications. She is a recent graduate of Southern New Hampshire University, where she earned her degree in communications. Darlene is a social media manager, as well as a past public relations manager for District 8 Toastmasters. Please help me welcome the presenter this morning, Darlene Willman.
Well, I am just thrilled to be here and excited to be covering how to run a successful open house. Now, earlier this year, I was trying to put together an open house for District 8. I had some challenges that came up, and so this is a good time for me to kind of share with you what I can give to you as my final, gift for the district for District 8. But I would like to go ahead and share my screen here real quick. So give me just a second, hang on, so that we can follow along with my presentation. And bear with me. Make sure I have this all going correctly because there's so many different room buttons and things to do here. And I just need to switch things around here. And Herman, would you be willing to just confirm that people can see on the screen where it says conducting a successful open house?
Yes.
Rhonda's shaking her head. All right, we are good to go. Again, I'm Darlene Willman, and I am so excited to be here today to share with you how to host your own open house. So I want to ask you all, first of all, just type in the chat box, and Herman's going to be keeping an eye on that for me. If you've held an open house for your club, just type in the word yes. I want to get an idea of how many people that are attending this breakout session that have actually done an open house. We'll be coming back to you in just a little bit, but go ahead and drop that in the chat for me. A little bit about myself. I just celebrated 4 years as a Toastmaster. June 1st was my 4-year mark, so I just made it 4 years. And as Herman had shared with you earlier, I just graduated from SNHU with a BA in communications. It's all focused in new media, so anything digital. I published a book in 2017. I was the VP of Public Relations for 2 years in my home club, which is Cave Springs Toastmasters. I was the public director or public relations manager for District 8. And again, I do social media management, professional speaker, and I earned my DTM last year, so that was a big thing too. A little housekeeping for everyone. This presentation will be about 35 to 40 minutes, and then we'll open it up for some Q&A at the end. It is being recorded, and if you do have questions along the way, please raise your virtual hand, and we'll get to that afterwards, or you can just post your questions or comments in the chat box. And Herman, who is my wingman, as I was joking around earlier with him, he is our Zoom master for this session. And so I'm very grateful. So let's give it up for Herman. We're excited that he is here helping me today. So he'll be kind of monitoring the chat box for me, since doing a presentation on the PowerPoint, the chat box somehow disappears, but we will keep up with everything as we go along. Today, I want you to learn why it's important to have an open house, where and when you should have it, preparing for the event, how to promote the open house. We'll talk a little bit about logistics of the actual event, and of course, following up after the event. And then again, we'll have some open Q&A at the very end. Well, let's go ahead and get an idea of those people that answered yes. Take yourself off of mute for me and just share one thing that has helped you with having a successful open house. So this is very open, interactive. So go ahead and just jump in. I see Rhonda raised her hand.
Having a drawing at the end.
I'm sorry?
Having a drawing at the end.
Oh, that's a good idea. A drawing. I like that. Rhonda, you had something you wanted to share?
Yes, for a corporate club at Boeing, we put an announcement in the company's weekly newsletter that we were having an open house. We had 42 people who responded and 19 people who showed up at the open house.
Very nice. I love that. That's great, especially for those corporate clubs. It might be a little challenging to actually get the word out, but I love the idea, Rhonda, of putting it in your newsletter. Great idea. Anyone else want to share?
This
Go
is
ahead,
Patty.
Oh. Patty,
Go ahead, Herman. At a corporate club, we invited, we did a table topics, and we had competition. We did 2 sets of table topics, and the audience, they rated who the best one was, and then those 2 competed at the very end. And so I got a lot of the people that come in to watch their fellow workers who felt very confident that they knew how to talk, and then get stumped. At some of them got stumped. They just completely went blank, and it was kind of funny, but yet showed the purpose of why you always need to be prepared.
That's great. Good. I like that example. Thank you for sharing, Patty. Herman, how about you?
I think you ought to have an open house at least once a year, probably more than once a year. The reason being is if you don't have one for a long time, you spend a lot of time figuring out what you really need to do. And when you have them more frequently, it sort of becomes second nature. It doesn't take that long to put it together and to conduct it.
Gotcha. That's a good one. Thank you, Herman. I see, Rand, you have your hand up. Good to see you here today. He's with my club as well.
Good to see you, Darlene. As a fellow member of Cave Springs Toastmasters Club, my first year of service, in order to win the Shooting Star Award, I was Vice President of Public Relations. And we had an open house. I purchased some buttons from International that said, "Ask me about Toastmasters." We encouraged every member to invite at least one guest. Our Sergeant at Arms, who served for 20 years, provided a veritable banquet of goodies to encourage the guests to come and circulate. And so it was a successful open house.
Love it. Great. I love that feedback. Thank you, Rand. I'm not sure if there was anyone else that had their hand up. Herman,
Yeah,
was there anybody else?
Yeah, Raul did.
Oh, Raul.
Hey,
Hi,
Darlene.
Raul.
Hey.
Glad to see you.
Sure, likewise. So quick share that I wanted to do about an open house that we conducted about a year back. And what we did to start with was not just announce that open house, but also to include a seasoned leader from the organization as a keynote speaker to kick off the open house. So what happened because of that was there were about 85 people who signed up for the open house,
Wow.
which was huge.
Yeah.
Because the keynote speaker drew the audience.
Yeah.
And then when they came, obviously the keynote speaker spoke first. People were excited. And then similar to Patty, we also did a table topics section. So we actually did a run through of what a typical Toastmasters meeting looks like. So
Very
we
good.
also had a short speech in addition to the keynote speech. Then we had table topic sections. We demonstrated what is done in table topic section by some of the Toastmasters members. And then we invited the guests who had attended the open house to participate. People willingly and enthusiastically participated, which was a nice thing for us. And they enjoyed the whole experience of impromptu on the feet speaking.
Fantastic. Thank you
And
for sharing that. That's
yeah,
great stuff, Raul.
and then they passed on their word of mouth to other people in the organization, which resulted in some bump up in the membership.
Great. Sounds like you had a very successful turnout. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sandra, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, we had some food for people. We had handouts, and especially important to have follow-up afterwards, get everybody's information that came to the meeting.
Fantastic. Well, it sounds like you guys are experts. I'm surprised that you're here at this breakout session. So I'm really grateful that you were able to share some things that have been working well for you in your club. And hopefully you'll learn a few things as I continue through my little presentation here for you. So I just want to kind of go through why you'd want to have an open house, and really to generate interest and get public awareness. A lot of times we get so wrapped up in our small club and our local members and what's going on that we forget the general public doesn't even know who we are. So having an open house opens the door for us to invite people in to get a taste of who we are. It's a great time to educate and share benefits of who Toastmasters is all about. And it helps to increase the enthusiasm and build teamwork with your members. This is something that I believe should be a group effort. And of course, it's a great way to grow your club. We all know that bringing in guests is going to help, inspire them to possibly join. And I just wanted to cover the where and when to have your open house. And I always recommend, always have it at the venue or location wherever you host your regular meetings. If you take them to a different place, they're going to assume that's where you meet on a regular basis. It may cause some confusion. So always have it at your same location of where you host your meetings. It gives them a sense of comfort knowing, oh, this is what I can expect. So when I come back to a regular meeting, I know my surroundings. I know how to get inside. I know how to find the room, all those kind of things. And I highly recommend you host an open house at least twice a year. Now, I know Herman mentioned at least once a year, but in my opinion, you should have it at least twice a year. And I specifically recommend 1 month after renewals. And the reason why I say that, we all know, unfortunately, when renewals comes, not everybody can stay a member. So we do lose some members in that process. By having it a month afterwards, we can recoup those members that we may have lost and gain some additional members in the meantime. Now, keep in mind, if your membership drops below 10 or 12 people, I highly recommend you have an additional open house. There is nothing wrong with having 3 or 4 open houses throughout the year. And why not? If you want to have a big club, which, we're all here as speakers, building our leadership skills, developing our confidence. We want to have an audience to do that with. And it's more fun to have it with a bunch of people than to be there with just a couple of people in the room. So again, be looking at ways that you can have your open house and schedule a couple of them in there. When you are creating your club success plan, map these out. So you'll want to have one, again, you have your club renewals in, October and March. So you'll want to have one in November or beginning of December. I guess you could do it either one of those, or you'll want to have it in April or beginning of May. So just make sure that you try to plan it accordingly and have it like right after your renewals are up. All right, let's dive into preparing for your open house. We want to really plan for success in this process. And it really comes down to getting ready and preparing I recommend at least 6 weeks before your actual event. You're going to want to reserve your space for 2.5 hours. I know that sounds like a long time, but for those of you that have, say, an hour-long meeting, you'll want to have a half hour in advance to set up, a half hour at the end to tear down, but you want to have an additional time frame to where you can answer questions, get people to sign up, whatever else. So a 2.5 hour window is about what you want to have if you normally conduct a 1 hour meeting. You want to order your brochures in advance, get your welcome packets together. Now, in your welcome packet, you can put all kinds of stuff. And I usually recommend one of those folders that has little pockets on each side. And inside that, you can include brochures, you can include a letter from your club president, you can include a list of who your leadership team is so that they know who to contact, who to look up. You can put all your members in there if you'd like to, or you can just have a little postcard or a note that says, join us at our next meeting, and list your meeting details, and always include an application in there. This is also the time that you'll want to ask for your volunteers that can help set up, tear down, and you'll want to assign all the roles for that meeting in advance. I recommend you create a Facebook event. Now, some of your clubs already have a Facebook page that is public so that people can come to you, or maybe you have it private if you're a private club, but you'll want to create a Facebook event because it's easy for your members to share. The bottom line is we want to make this super easy to have your members be involved. You can write your news release, send it out to the local media if you're a public event or an open club. Use Eventbrite. I know that Rhonda had mentioned this earlier, that she learned Eventbrite, and it's a great place that you can collect registrations and include the link in all of your marketing material, or better yet, use a QR code. That little example there on the right-hand side is what a QR code will look like. And it's super easy for people to take their cell phones out and scan it now, and it will take them directly to where you want them to go to RSVP and register for your open house. It's a great place to also capture and collect all those things, because the bottom line is this is a way of bringing in prospects and learning how you can follow up with them afterwards. You'll want to design all your graphics, get your flyers created, printed, so that you can share those as well. You'll want to put together some social media posts. Keep those super sweet, short, simple. Send out email invitations, and of course, add this information to your free Toast Host website, or if you have an internal website, add it to that. All right, so we have some open house graphics that I had created. One of these is actually for my club, for Cave Springs Toastmasters. I created that in the past, but I also created a couple that were for the District 8 open house. And don't worry, all of you will have access to all of these great graphics. I have created a resources page for all of you, so you don't even have to worry about taking any notes. You're even going to get all of these slides. You're going to have the entire thing provided to you. So as we were talking earlier, Raul had mentioned that he brought in a wonderful speaker. Now, I recommend selecting 2 speakers for your open house. One that is a beginner, they're just learning the ropes, and one that is an experienced, seasoned Toastmaster. You want to take people from where they are in the beginning, because they might be reserved and shy. They might be reluctant. They may hate speaking in public. So you'll want to have somebody that is learning the ropes and that your audience can relate to these people. So have them be your first speaker, then bring in your experienced speaker. Now, if you want to make this experienced Toastmaster be even someone from a different club that may have a draw to bring in people, you can do that, or just keep it within your club. But having that experienced Toastmaster is going to inspire them to say, gosh, I'm kind of like the beginner, but boy, wouldn't I like to be like the experienced one. So it may inspire some people to want to reach beyond their comfort zone and get more experience. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I want you to really encourage your members to do the marketing. This is a group effort. It is not just going to be on the shoulders of your public relations person. So make sure that at every one of your meetings that you have, starting at that 6 weeks in advance, start telling your members, hey, don't forget, we have open house scheduled for, and tell them when the meeting is at. The more that you can drill that into their head of when that big event is going to be, the more that they can easily recall that for later on. Give each of your members 5 flyers to hand out. Or you could do postcards if you'd rather do postcards. But you want to arm your members with the materials that they can easily hand out. Maybe you've got some members that are a part of some networking groups and they can bring it to their group and hand them out there. Or if they're at a Chamber of Commerce luncheon and maybe the speaker there might be a good person to invite to your event or some other people at your table, but at least give them something that they can share. Have a contest to see who brings the most guests. You know, Toastmasters International has a store. We can invest $20 in a t-shirt or less and have that as a giveaway. Or maybe at the end, I know that this was also brought up earlier. I think it might have been Josephine that mentioned having a drawing at the end, you know, some sort of giveaway, which would be great. And then I also recommend send each of your members a text message with the verbiage that they can simply copy and paste to invite people using their mobile phone. I know a lot of people in Toastmasters resist using mobile messaging, but it is part of our future. This is where more people are going to these days. They're always on their phone. It's the easiest way to communicate. So if we can provide them with the information that all they have to do is copy and paste, you might get more people to attend your events. So guess what? I created some sample text messages as well for you to share with your members. So the first one, message number 1, says hi, and then it says first name. Always personalize the message. This seems to be more of an intimate kind of connection instead of just a generic form. And you could say, hey, we're hosting an open house at my Toastmasters club, and I'd love to invite you to attend. Would you be free on, and give them the date? You don't need to give them much more than that. If they respond yes, then send them the next text message that says, that's great, I'm excited to have you as my personal guest at our, and then insert your club name and give them the meeting location. We meet at the time and location. Here's a link to register to attend, and then you would insert that link or provide them with that QR code. If they say no, they're not interested, thank them and be on your way. So the next message here is message number 2. So this will be something that your members will send out 3 to 5 days before the open house so that they can remind people to attend. And again, we want to personalize it. Hi, include their first name. I'm looking forward to seeing you at our club. And again, include the club name. The open house, insert the date, time, location. If you have any trouble finding it, let me know, and I'll see you there, and then the member's name. And then finally, that last message is to send after the open house. This is probably the most important piece that I think a lot of people miss or they leave out. It's that follow-up after the event. And all it says is hi and include their first name again. It was great seeing you at our club open house, and I hope you enjoyed your experience. Please let me know if you have any questions that I can answer for you, and we'd love to see you become a Toastmaster, best, and then their name. So again, these are just samples. You can change it any way you'd like, but this at least gives you something that you can share. All right. 1 week before your open house, remind your volunteers of their roles, confirm the setup of your venue. If you are having a big crowd, you've got a lot of RSVPs, you may want to reposition how you have your room set up. Double check that you have all your welcome packets together. Again, simple folders. I printed out the logo for Toastmasters on a label and put it on top of the folder just to kind of keep it all professional looking. And again, membership applications should be ready to go. Send that text reminder to all of the members so they can copy and paste it and send it to their guests. And Eventbrite, if you do use that system, will automatically send email reminders. And I believe it's set up to do it the day before. It might be the week before and the day before, but just so that you know, if you use Eventbrite, there are special tools in it. Eventbrite is free as long as your event is free, so keep that in mind as well. All right, moving into the day of the open house itself. So as far as logistics are concerned, again, you'll want to set up 30 minutes in advance. You should bring a little food and drinks. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate, just little snacks. It can be a fruit tray, it can be a veggie tray, it can be crackers, it can be granola bars, it doesn't matter, but you want to have some sort of food there so that people aren't sitting there hoping to get through the open house because they're starving, right? So we want to have a little something that they can snack on. Drinks can be something simple, just bottles of water. Maybe you want to make a fruit punch, something like that, or whatever you choose to do. You'll want to test your audio visual stuff, make sure that everything is working and functioning properly. If you have a microphone, I highly recommend using it. And the reason I say that is you want to make sure that everyone can hear you. Now, I know a lot of people think, oh, well, my voice projects and you can hear me just fine, but it's always better to use a microphone if you have one accessible. I'm going to make sure that your visual aids are working properly, that you have something out front so that people can see it. A PowerPoint presentation, which, by the way, I have also included for you, so you'll have access to that. A printed agenda. Again, I also have a sample agenda for you. Your registration table should be up front. You can have name tags available if you'd like, but always greet every guest that comes in and give them a welcome packet. Now, if your venue is difficult to find, make sure you have somebody at the front door so that they can guide them into finding the room. A lot of times we assume that that's easy to find. Better yet, if you can get some signs made up with some arrows pointing to where to go, put that out there. Make it super easy for people to find where you're at. Then go into your presentations. Again, have 2 of them. Make sure they have their bios ready and in advance, and they're sitting at the lectern, so it makes it easy for your Toastmaster to introduce your speakers. Do an evaluation of both speakers. Now, I'm going to tell you to keep your evaluations really short, 1 to 2 minutes tops. The only reason why I say that is, again, you're doing a trimmed down version of an actual event. So your meetings might be a little different than the open house, but we want to incorporate as many similarities so that people will know what to expect when they attend your meeting. I would also recommend assigning 2 members in advance to give testimonials. Let them come up to the front of the audience and let them give a 1 or 2 minute description of why they joined Toastmasters and why they like being a member. It's always good to have that third-party endorsement. And then finally, leave room for questions. Of course, conduct your table topics, so give a few questions and limit those. Don't give as many as you normally would, but I would say maybe 4 or 5 so that it gives your audience a feel for what it's like. And ask your guests if they want to participate in the table topics discussion. Explain how to join. This is a big piece that I think a lot of people leave out. They assume if they give them an application that it's all handled for them. You want to make sure you explain how to join Toastmasters. And I would also recommend you figure out your prorated amount to join in advance. Now, I put on there as an example, join today for just $57.50, and I broke it down for you. If it's 1 month after your renewals, then it's $37.50 for 5 months of Toastmasters membership, plus the one-time $20 membership application. So then it's easier to say you can join today for the next 5 months, it's $57.50. Then when we renew again in March, it would be, you know, break it out at however way you do it. If you charge, it's $45 for Toastmasters International, and then whatever your club dues are, put it together and explain what that is for them. Again, make it super easy. Always, always include a call to action. Now, this is going to apply to all your marketing materials, all your flyers, anything you have on your website, whatever you do when you're dealing with the public, explain to them what you want them to do. What is the action step you need for them to take next? So I just put a little example here and said, if you enjoyed your experience here today at our Toastmasters open house and would like support finding your voice, please fill out our membership application and turn it into our Vice President of Membership and include their name. That way there, they know what to do next. And if you do this all right, you should have a whole bunch of people coming up to your membership person, turning in an application right then and there. But don't count on all of that, because some people need time to go back and think about it, and they need to talk it over with their husband, or they're reluctant, or you know how that goes. But you will have some that will turn in their application there at the meeting. Maybe even give it a little incentive. Hey, turn in your application today for your free drawing, whatever you're going to do. But give them a little incentive if you want to do that. Of course, share your next meeting. Invite them to come out and join you at the next club meeting, whenever you're going to conduct that. Now, I know I'm probably going to get a little bit of pushback on this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Even though we know that guests can attend as many times as they want for free, I'm going to go out on a limb here and tell you, please don't say that in public to everybody that you run into. Yes, they can. We know they can come back and attend for free. But what benefit is it to them or to your club if you have a guest that keeps coming back and isn't a member? Yeah, they'll take up a little bit more space in your meeting, but you really want to just have people join you. So instead, just say, hey, we'd love to have you come back. We hope you'll consider joining us. Our next meeting is such and such. And yes, they'll either come back for another time, but you just don't want to point blank make a big announcement saying, oh, you can come as often as you want for free. So don't say that. Just tell them, we hope you'll come back and join us again. All right. After your open house. So this is, again, the biggest piece that you'll want to spend a little bit of time, especially your VP of membership. This is when they should be calling everybody that attended, everybody who was a guest. And it should be right away, at least within a week. Members, make sure that they send out text message number 3 right away. It can either be the same day, the next day, whatever, but you want to make sure that you follow up within a week. Very important. Here are the resources that we discussed. So I have on here the news release. There's a sample news release for you. There's flyers, graphics. Now I created the graphics in Canva, and I made it accessible for anybody who has a Canva account to use those, and they can just edit them and change them however way they need to. I included all those sample text messages. I included a PowerPoint for you, a sample meeting agenda, and I threw in the membership application just in case you needed that. This is pretty much everything that you would need to have a successful open house. Now, of course, you can add more in there. I did create this link if in case, Herman, if you want to go ahead and drop that link into the chat, that way there people can just click on it. Or you can just scan that QR code right there with your phone. It will take you directly to it as well. And I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today. This has been a pleasure being here with each of you. And I've included my little QR code that if you wanted to connect with me on LinkedIn, you can scan that and that will take you directly to my LinkedIn, and we can stay in touch forever and ever. But that's my presentation. I want to open this up for anyone who has any questions or that needs any clarification on anything. Does anybody have any questions? Patty, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, you said your flyers are, if you have a Canva account. So
Yes.
that's the only way you can use them, is that correct? Then you don't have any other way to,
Yes, because you want to
Okay.
be able to have an editing program.
Mhm.
I didn't want to do it in Photoshop because it's an expensive program.
Okay.
So, or Illustrator or anything like that. So I kept it very simple. Canva's free, and these
Mhm.
are a free tool for you. Rhonda, I see you have your hand up as well.
Yes, so as a nonprofit in the district, we can get a nonprofit Canva account. All of the clubs have their own EIN numbers, so they would be able to get a free Canva account also, but we need to give them the information on how to do that.
They can
That
still
way
use
they'd be-
these as well.
That way they'd be able to access those. All
Yeah.
right, thank you.
Yeah, either if they're, setting up their own free account, or if they're wanting to go deeper, but yes, they can do that as well. Actually, let me do this. I am going to stop share for a second, and I am going to share one more. I'll take you directly into what I created here for all of you guys here. Give me just a second.
By the way, all the documents are in chat.
Okay, great. So that link is in there. Perfect. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see what's in here.
Yeah.
I think you can. So yeah, this is basically, so the sample open house is in here. The, let's see, what else have I got in here? Text messaging, your PowerPoint presentation, just download this, fill this out. Flyers, there's different ones here. And again, this here, I'm going to open this here real quick. So this is your graphics I created for you. So you can kind of get a feel for what I'm talking about. So it just says that you'll need to have your own Canva account, and it's free to get something set up. And so make sure you do make a copy of it before you start editing. But it's taken a while to load here. There we go. So as you can see here, now I've used actually all of the actual colors for our brand, so that keeps it consistent for you. But all you have to do is click this link that's underneath each one of the graphics. And of course,
Okay.
put your own information in there, when, where, dates, however way you want to use these. This is a larger one. So I kind of put 3 different sizes out here for you.
Mhm.
So that kind of just shows you that. And then I think, let's see here. Can't see behind my screen here, but what else do I want to show you? It's not allowing me to get through this, but if you have any questions, you can reach out to me if you need to, or if, and like I said, most of this is all explained in here, your PowerPoint presentation,
Mhm.
all those kind of things. So let's see, screen share is being paused. Okay, I'm going to stop share. Any other questions?
I'm not seeing the link. Let me go back through my messages again.
Kay, I see you have your hand up. Did you have a question?
Patty, it's okay. Hold on just a second. Patty, it's okay because I did a screenshot with both the links and I can send them to you and you can just copy and paste and type them in. So I do have them. Okay.
Okay, so
And
that
I've
was
got to
number,
go. I've got to go. We've got a potential club that's chartering. We've got a meeting in 17 minutes. So I need to go to that one. But
All
thank
right,
you.
Rhonda.
Absolutely
you.
wonderful. And I will be
Good.
calling you when I need a little bit of assistance.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us today. Kay, you
That
had
was
a
my
question?
question too, that I didn't see the links in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I have a part 2. And that is our club meets at 7 a.m.
Okay.
on a
It's
Friday
pretty
morning.
early.
Yes, we do it that way so that, because we found it works best for our members, that they maybe can't get away at lunchtime. They have families, that they have commitments in the evening. And so they can get energized on a Friday morning and get on with their day. And so getting people to an open house at 7 a.m., it officially starts at 7:15. But that's the challenge we've had with trying to plan on an open
So
house.
my suggestion for you, Kay, is to schedule an open house at a different time. Okay.
Okay,
But still at the same venue, same location.
okay,
Okay.
okay,
And then that way there you can say, and also allow people to know that regular meetings are at 7 a.m. so that
yes,
if they are interested, then they know where to go and show up. So that's what I would do.
okay,
Good.
okay. Do you think a like 4 o'clock in the afternoon kind of happy hour time
Sure.
would, I'm just thinking about some people, they have families, whatever, and don't really want to go out again.
You know
after
what?
they love
Pick
work.
what works best for your club.
Okay.
Ask your members when they can be
Yeah.
there and work around their schedule. And those that can make it will be there.
Right. Okay. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Sure.
I wasn't sure when you said hold it at your regular venue, if that also then had to be the regular time.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And
Yeah.
I kind of like my 4 o'clock idea.
Any other questions? Well, it looks as though we have completed our time. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. So
Okay.
bear with me here.